This week, we're going to meet a man who found an unusual way to deal with his bullies. We're going to talk about it after I hit this music. Joining me this week is the one and only Dean Bottles. Dean, thank you for coming on today.
G'day from Australia.
We connected on social media a few weeks ago, and you kind of shared me a little bit of your story about how you handled bullies as a kid. But before we get into that, tell us what it was like growing up in Australia and what were the bullies like down under?
Well, having a surname like Bottles didn't help. I got teased from an early age, and I found it very hard to fit in. And when I reached kindergarten, which is 5 years old in South Australia, the bullies began. Instead of getting scared of the guy, I actually challenged him from an early age. And I got beat up many times, but then the bullies continued throughout my primary school years, junior school. And we got to a point where instead of being scared, I used to make fun of them until they beat me up.
Oh, so going back a little bit before we get too far into it, what were the kids picking on you for?
I think it started with the name, Bottles. 10 green bottles hanging on the wall, many other different ones. And I used to get really upset by it, so I'd react in a childish manner, and they'd make fun of it, and they'd just keep going and going until the end. I'd end up getting beaten up. And then it continues through primary school until high school, which was year 8. And there was a guy who was quite more, a lot more well-built than I was, and quite a bit taller than me at that time. He used to scare the shit crap out of me. And then one day I had a growth spurt, and he tried to pick on me and turned around, and I looked at him and he went, "You don't scare me anymore." And I said that, "You don't scare me anymore." He turned around and walked away, because his face was total shock. And he didn't try to push me or anything, he ignored it. But then the next day he tried again, and the same response was, "You don't scare me anymore." Eventually we became friends, and we had quite a good friendship through our younger adult years. He died in 2023, I think it was. And the thing was is that I got over it. I moved on with my life, and I made a post in my local high school page about him. And I found that 2 of the guys in my year at that time, still to this day, are suffering from the torment this guy put through. And speech up. I'm about to ask you a question.
No, go ahead. I'll still listen to you. No, I was turning up my volume on my headsets.
So then I got to my end of my high school years, and I still didn't fit in very well. And then I thought, I'm going to end up getting bullied most of my life, so how about I make myself look tougher than I am? And I went and got myself tattoos.
Tattoos.
The mindset was, if I look big and scary, then people are less likely to pick on me. And
did that work?
It did. A lot of the times, and I can use it to my advantage if I choose to. I can intimidate anyone if I choose to, but that's not the type of person I am. A really kind-hearted softy, like most guys look like me do. Most guys are. But I found that I can push my weight around if I need to, but it was more used a lot as a friend of a person who worked at a bar, and I was a sober driver. I was always picking her up on a Friday and Saturday night, and I get encountered by all these drunk guys. So I used my looks to intimidate them and get rid of them. But I found out that most of those guys were the nicest guys when they were sober. Idiots when they were drunk. But anyway, it came to a point in my life where I became a father, and my eldest son, once he reached adolescent years, started to become a bully at his own school. In the seatbelt with me. So I became his bully. He did not respond well. I essentially bullied the bully until he cried. They're not broke him. And he never was a bully ever again.
How'd you break him?
And I break him by being his bully, pushing him, intimidating him until he was fearful of his well-being, I suppose. I wasn't going to hurt him, but I made him feel how he made other people feel. And once you felt that,
So growing up, you stood up to your bullies from day one, from kindergarten on up, correct?
Yeah, whether I was successful or not, I still got beat up, but I still stood up to them.
Yeah. Were you ever labeled as a problem child at all for doing that?
No. Yeah, because I wasn't a troublemaker.
It happened at school, outside, at the playground, at home. Where did you?
More open at school, but after school as well with certain individuals. And I ended up finding out later on that the ones who used to bully me were trouble kids. One of them particularly was a child whose father was a police superintendent, and his stepfather was a police. He was like the top level police, so commissioner. And he used to be beaten by both his father and his stepfather. So he used to take it on the little kids. I was one of the little kids. And then he hung himself. In high school.
Oh, well.
We found out later on how troubled he really was.
Yeah.
And I made his years of bullying highly irrelevant because, it was like he was looking to become the dominant one, I suppose, in some way. Because all he was dominated, pushed around by the adults all his life.
That's the problem we're facing in today's society, is that the schools, they don't want to admit there's bullying going on. They don't want to look into the kid who's doing the bullying, because if they took a time to look into that, they're going to find out that there's a reason why this kid's acting up this way. For your example, this something to do with at home, and eventually it drove him to the point of suicide himself. Like, if people would have stepped in earlier, he still may be alive today, which is really sad.
And this guy he moved away to be with his sister in another state, and he's got drunk and stole a car and crashed it. And he couldn't bear telling his sister, so he hung himself. 14 years old.
Yeah. So he didn't commit. So did he?
That was 1986, so a long time ago. But anyway, yeah. It was still a shock to his sister.
So, yeah. So when you got older, you decided, like you mentioned earlier, to become the bully to end the bullying. Do you recommend kids doing that, or is there a certain time where you got to kind of speak their language to get the bullying to stop?
You've got to be able to look after yourself to start, because who knows how much of a situation you could end up getting yourself into. You could end up getting yourself in serious trouble by not being able to look after yourself. But it was more the not being scared, regardless of how much they wanted to hurt me and how bad they hurt me. Not being scared, I suppose, was the biggest part of it all. Not letting them, and like how much I wanted to run away, I didn't. I suppose there were times when I did run away at school, but I still ended up getting caught up to being beaten up in the long term. And it didn't matter whatever I did, I still got dealt with by them in the long term. But I did not get like, please don't hurt me. It was in the end I started teasing them until they did hurt me. I don't know why I did that. Still to this day, I can't understand why I did that. Sometimes I really got hurt pretty bad. But I suppose that was, but it's been like 40 odd years between then and now.
Yeah. Did you feel that helped your case? Did that solve your bullying issue by standing up to them and dealing with those beatings? Was it the same people, or was it always someone different?
Eventually they get sick of it, and they'd either ignore me or they would become my friend. But the bullying stopped because I didn't react in the way they expected me to. Which was like a little bit.
But your bullying went on for about 10 years, from 5 to 15 years old.
Yeah.
Was it always the same group of kids that kept wanting to push you? Because eventually you think you'd run out of kids that'll pick on you.
was always the toughest kid in school, but they'd actually be replaced by another guy who was bigger and stronger. Still, was always in guys.
Okay.
But today, I could say
So
that we're all friends. Say the ones who were still alive, we're friends, and we could face each other in the street, and we wouldn't have a bad word to say about each other. Children,
do you feel like you earned respect from those people then by standing
yeah.
up to yourselves and taking the beatings?
But yeah, not every kid's prepared to take a beating.
What was it like for you growing up? Did your parents teach you this stuff and how to stand up for yourself?
My
Or
dad
did you
told
kind
me
of
that
just had that instinctly?
my dad told me to stick up for myself. Not physically, but if you're right, you're right. And yeah, he told me to not back down from anyone. So I've always still to this day, if I know if I'm right about something, I'll stick up for myself and I will argue. I've act. Excuse my Dutch, but they're just decisions too. So yeah, I'll stand and argue over something if I'm right. But as a child, I didn't know how to defend myself. I didn't know how to argue. I suppose bullying, teasing was my response to the same thing. Yeah, teasing. I suppose that was my way of sticking up for myself.
Did you ever
So
report your bullying to your parents or your teachers?
yeah, it was one of those things that was always my own. At primary school, especially, I got to the point where I just keep getting told to stay away from them, and they get told to stay away from me, and we get put under detention every time we get into a tussle. Seemed more often than not, it seemed to happen. But the bullying of other bullies happened a little bit old when I got a little bit older as well. Encountered a young fella one night getting beat up in a club, and it was all good. We were all standing there watching it, and then he was on the ground, and the guy went laid booty. That wasn't good. So I stood up. I stood in front of this guy, and I said, "If you want to continue to fight this guy, you got to go through me." And the guy didn't know how to take it. In the end, he sort of just, all right, it's once over. I didn't know the guy I stuck up for, but he was a little fella, taller than me. And it was probably a month or 2 months later, I got a phone call out of the blue one day, back on the old rotary dial telephones. This guy, you don't know me, but you saved me from getting beat up at ball skating a few months ago. But I remember you. He said, "Thank you. I wanted to thank you so much. You saved my life." That guy had been his bully for years. And it was like he always managed to avoid this guy. And then one night, on a Friday night, I went to a roller skating rink, and the guy decided he was going to get his way with him. So the fight happened. And then I stood up with this guy. I had no idea who he was, but I didn't anyway. And that guy never bullied him again after that. But someone stood up to him. I bullied the bully, but I have since bullied a few bullies to make them cry, because I thought that was a decent way of dealing with someone. I suppose online, it's a little bit less of a chance of getting someone chasing down and mind to kill you, especially if they live. Yeah, I made a few bullies cry. And the good thing about it is I'm immediately away from being a bully. They realise immediately how much of it affects, how much they feel, sad they feel by being bullied. Then they go, "Oh my God, is that what I'm doing to other people? Oh my God, what am I doing?" And it turns them straight. So I thought that could be a good approach. I'm still helping turn the tide.
It's an unusual approach. I do think there's probably. Did you try other things before you decide to bully them back? Did you try other ways to?
Also, did. But in the end, they started to get very childish, I suppose you could say. Started to get quite rude. And I'm not that kind of guy who has got a small vocabulary, so I got quite clever with my words, and I manipulated my words to make this guy very, very sad. And in the end, he said, "You've really affected me and so upset me so much that I am no longer going to bully another bully. I'm not going to bully another person. You turn me around."
Yeah.
I know I said bully it. Anyway, yeah, it was it was one of those things that made me think, wow, I've actually done something good here. But I was angry at the time. I was annoyed by this guy. But I thought, you're just going to be a child. I'm going to make you feel bad.
Is that the only time you were bullying the bullies, or did you have other times where you
There's
used
been
that?
a couple of times, but I must say that in the last few years, I have turned my aggression around. I used to be a very angry young man, and yes, and not much upsets me anymore. I suppose
So, if somebody was going to bully you today, how would you handle that?
I'd laugh over the starters.
Okay.
Weird started.
They kept coming at you. They kept coming. They kept, just trying to poke you. Just laugh at them, ignore them.
Situation. Laugh at the jokes they're making. Don't bet them cut as deep as you might think they want to cut. Words are like swords. They can cut deep. But how much you are offended by them. If you choose to take offense to it, then they can cut deep. But in a situation like this, you can't make it best. It wasn't just
when you became the bully. When you became the bully, did you feel like a great sense of power that you wanted to keep doing it? Did you? Yeah.
Much made me feel like quite a bit of an ego player boost, and yeah, though it was one of those things that I also felt bad too. Felt bad for being an arsehole.
Okay. Yeah.
I suppose
so you regret this now.
Pardon?
Do you regret becoming the bully to the bullies now, or since you did change some bullies,
no,
really, you made an impact?
I actually turned them into non-bullies.
Okay.
And I suppose that was a thing. I saw as quite a bit of a breakthrough. That could help with other people. So if it helps anyone out there, do you feel like you're prepared to stand up to another bully? And there's no chance of them hurting you physically, coming to a house and shooting you, and anyone else hurting you. Then stand up to a bully. Make fun of them. Essentially, they are just emotionally starved little children.
Hard part about standing up is you don't know what the outcome's going to be, though. You don't know what that person's mental state's like, so it's kind of hard. That again.
I said, don't do it so you get so hurt, literally, because there's some crazy people in the world today that will take literally.
So what's your advice for people who are being bullied, kids or adults? Besides, you can laugh it away, which does work, because it gets them to quit. But any other advice you have? Or do you want them just do like a role reversal?
Try not to take it personally, because though it does hurt, they are essentially attacking themselves by attacking you in that manner. They're hurting themselves by hurting you, but they don't see it. And most of those children are just like a little Nelson Muntz from The Simpsons, live in a broken home. Or a home that has got some dysfunction in it somewhere, whether it's the father or the mother, or both. But those children have got other concerns behind the scenes that are causing them to act out like they are. So essentially, being a meanie to them can actually probably cause more trouble. Looking in hindsight today after this conversation, it could cause some of these kids to have either a mental breakdown and hurt themselves or hurt others, have had a bigger scale.
I think what you said, don't take it personally. That's some great advice, especially as adults. Don't take it personally, even though it might chip away your ego a little bit. Just suck it up, because those people are probably hurting way worse than what you're feeling at this moment.
Yeah, there's always someone worse off than you. And if you let every little thing get to you, eventually everything in the world will scare you. You won't be able to live a life where you can enjoy yourself because you're scared of everything. Fear is the biggest problem in this world today. Fear, especially with our media. They try to drive fear into us all the time. So most of us live in a state of fear all the time. But fearing someone who's intimidating you I know it can be really, really difficult, but yeah, try to not be take it personally, I suppose. But
Yeah.
yeah, reacting in the way that they want you to is by being upset or telling them, don't do that, don't do that. That just makes them want to tease you even more or bully you even more.
Yeah. Do you have kids by chance?
I have 3 adult children with intellectual disabilities.
Okay.
So I bullied my eldest, but that was pretty easy to stop him. But he was pushing kids around at school.
Yeah.
He was bigger than everyone in his
Okay.
age. So he was like head and shoulders above kids his age at school. So it was quite easy for him to go push his way around. And it was, wasn't something I planned to do either. I sort of just was upset that he was bullying kids. So I walked up to him and shoulder charged him. And he said, well, what are you doing that for? I said, you want to be a bully? I'll bully you. Started chest barging. But it was immediately crying out like a little child. And then I stopped
And he
straight
stopped.
away.
Yeah.
But it
And he
happened.
stopped bullying them too, right?
He stopped bullying
okay.
after that. But then my middle child, his little brother started doing it too, which happened not long after he's got his first tattoo. Started thinking he was tough.
Okay. Did you know that your kids were becoming the bullies? Did you see it happen, or did you hear about it?
The school. Yeah.
Okay.
Made note of it. Seeing that his phone, your son is bullying other children.
We're getting close to our time here. Do you have any advice for parents whose kids are being bullied? Your kids are just too afraid to stand up. Like, how do we teach our kids to take that stand to face a bully?
That's a difficult question.
That's why I was asking you if you had kids, because if you told your kids this, like, how would you tell your kids, like, this is how you do it?
I don't know. React in a totally different manner than what they'd expect you to.
Okay.
Take it as a means to learn from, something to learn from. That adversity is something we can all overcome, yes. But those who are bullied end up becoming a stronger individual. Not that it's something we should all have to go through, but we end up becoming usually stronger individuals because of having to go through these things as a younger child. Though the guys I grew up with who were bullied, but they still are scared of one guy, they become quite successful. And today, I think one of them is 6'9". No one could bully him today. Because back then, he was like 5'4". He was a tiny little thing. And he was easy to bully. And his nickname was Daisy. So a boy called Daisy was really easy to pick on. But today, he's 6'9" and he's quite well built. But he still suffers from the
pick on him.
Of that one guy in high school, Glenn Bowman, who picked on him. So I wish
that's the sad part about
guys to help them overcome their trauma from those times. And they were denied when they said, no, we'll get it through it in our own way. Come on, guys, you're in your 50s now and you're still suffering from it.
Yeah, that's the sad part about bullying. It's, when you take away someone's confidence, when they have it fully filled up, it's hard to get that filled back up again. You're always going to have that little voice in your mind
the boys
that's going to keep holding you back.
It's their puberty age and they started to fill out. They are, not able to, it's a bit hard to look after yourself, but even then, some of them didn't fill out too late. But there's always one guy who's going to think he's tougher than him, I guess. Martial arts nowadays is another way to do. I did martial arts as a young fellow until I was 19 and got sick, so I couldn't continue that. Which I'm going to start it up again very soon because I had a heart attack recently and I've been told I need to get myself fit.
Oh, no.
So,
yeah, martial arts would be a good exercise for you.
It would be, yeah. I can still continue back where I'm left off, but self-defense is one way to build confidence, I guess. Martial arts for self-defense, not for beating up the guys. Being able to look after yourself, I guess, when push comes to shove. You
Dean,
Tim, you do martial arts, don't you?
Yeah, I own my own martial arts school. So that's what I do for a living. That's my full-time day job. I should say day job. It's more of a full-time evening job.
Right.
So that's what I do. I work with mostly kids. So we
That's a big have a big
yes,
model like that. Just want to say you're an awesome man.
yes.
Let me say.
Thank you. Dean, we're getting close to our time. I want to thank you so much for coming on and sending me that message about your story. And I guess the biggest point for parents when you have a kid being bullied is, 1, don't take it personal. 2, don't react the way that bully wants you to react, which is some great advice.
It's really hard.
Dean, yes, it's it's one of those skills that are tough to get kids to speak up, but the more they stand up, they do it, it will there. So, Dean, thanks again for coming on today.
Awesome, team. Thank you very much for having me. Hope I helped someone with my message.
And for myself, you can always find us at our very own website, which is www.breakingbullying.com. You can also reach out to us at our email address. If you have a story of your own bullying to share, or for whatever reason you want to get a hold of us, our email address is breakbullyinghere@gmail.com. Now, if you're a victim of bullying and you don't know where to turn, there is online resources to help you. The first is the government's very own anti-bullying website, and the address is www.stopbullying.gov. And other online resource is www.pacer.org/bullying. Now, if you have had thoughts of suicide or of self-harm, we implore you to stop. Reach out to the National Suicide Hotline. That number is very simple. It's 988. I'm Tim Flynn, and thank you for listening, and we will be back next week to continue the conversation to break the silence on bullying.